Hello. Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's do this. So, quick introductions. My name is Daniel. This is not Iris. This is my stream where I'm making a job tracker in Rust and Dioxis. We've been going... Oh my goodness, I think this might actually be the 7th stream we've done on this. Don't feel like I don't have a lot to show for it so far, but there are some changes since the end of the last stream. So let me hop over to here. That is not showing the right window. That's interesting. Why has that happened? Okay, give me a second. Let's have a look. I mean, that window's fine for it to show. I just don't understand why it's not showing everything else. That's a new one on me. It's supposed to show the entire screen. Let's have a look. Maybe if I just... I've got screen capture. That's an interesting one to run into immediately. Don't want to share that screen. Let's just share that quickly, and then we'll go back to display Del. Okay. And now, okay, now it's working fine. That was an odd bug to start off with. I use OBS for my streams, and how are we seeing some confidential code now? Oh no. So yeah, I use OBS for the streams, and just every so often, I think it does not. Sorry, I'm just gonna, now I'm paranoid. I'm just going to check my levels. Okay, yeah, every so often it just sort of like requires you to remove and re-add things, particularly cameras and capture devices and stuff like that. So anyway, it seems to be fine now. Let's see, we have a few things to show off. So I'll go through. I think a few things were actually in the last stream, but they may or may not have been working. So I've moved the state, kind of, the sort of like the source of truth for the state for the application into the URL, which isn't a real thing in a desktop application, but it works. I guess this is the nice thing about rendering a web page in a desktop application. So I will come to this bit of code in a minute. If I go to, we moved a lot into the UI. So anything that's not specifically desktop related and not storage related will sit in UI. We now have I think it's in the home view. Yeah. So we can, actually, let's go to the main nav. Nope. Let's do router. That's it. So the router now can capture like some inputs on the URL itself. And by doing that, it means that I sort of have a consistent way of managing the state and getting back to places quite easily. And then I can pick that back up in home. I then, so the router maps the ID of the company and the role using this slightly weird logic. So there was someone on the stream last time, Evan, if I remember rightly, I think he might be a contributor to Dioxis, was helping with this as well. So by passing in the details, so we can't easily send everything to home, which is the actual route that we care about, because you can't have optional parameters right now, although I think you mentioned that it might come in the next version, which would be very exciting. I think this is the danger of using things that are not at a stable release. I enjoy using Dioxis so much, even though I've been using it since I think 0.4, and every time there's a big update, it will break or add some new cool things where I end up rewriting a lot of my software again. I really don't mind because I just enjoy using it so much. Yeah, so hopefully when 0.7 comes out, we can rewrite this a little bit. Right now, we just look to see if there is a company ID, if there's a role ID, and this view. The way this works is actually it's just an enum that will take some form of string, company, role, question. Technically, I'll have to work out interview later. I think it might end up being an additional like / interview ID over here. So that's not working yet, but then it will route it into one of these 3 components that just renders home with the optional parameters set. So that makes it nice and easy. So now that's our status sort of in the URL in the router. If we go into home, this is sort of like what loads it into the application proper. So we start off a resource that will, resources are kind of how Darksys works with asynchronous code. So we can then use that to look up the company ID in the store and the role in the store. I have created some issues around this because anytime you sort of, this is a really common one with sort of like a common pitfall for any language that uses async code. So async is really nice in that you can write sort of step-by-step code that is run asynchronously, but quite often you might hit times where you could be doing two things at once, but because you've used async code, you've sort of like got do one thing, dot await, do thing A, do thing B, and each of those is dot await. But thing A and thing B could have been done at the same time, and we very much have this in here. So loading the role initially can be done at the same time. So I want to rewrite this sort of setting code here so that it loads both roles at the same time. It's probably too early of an optimization because this will actually already be in memory. We're just loading it from a memory store. So probably not the biggest issue. And then this is not asynchronous. This just loads it up straight. This just sets it straight into the application context. Anyway, so that's how that is now working. Let's do that. So I moved last stream. I was looking at Tailwind, trying to decide whether I liked it or not. And I have to say, I still don't know. It is, it's a thing. Like it lets you do certain things really quickly. However, I felt like the sort of the way that seems to be the right, air quotes, right way to do it, I really didn't like it because for every single link I was putting on the same classes and things like that. So what I've done is moved a lot of it into input.css. So I'm still using Tailwind. I'm still using the utility classes. I'm just applying them directly to components. Sorry, not to components, to elements. So that I can have a consistent look. So I don't need to think about the next time I add in, say, the interviews view or something like that. I don't have to restyle the H2 again. H2 just is this. There are some sort of like quirky special places, like we've got a nav A and a PA have slightly different styles. But I think trying to keep it consistent across the application using the sort of the core HTML elements is probably the right way to go with this. So that's that. RX. Slight rename of the app and funky logo. Yeah, this is fun. So let me load back up the app. So it's looking a lot nicer. It's not just a job tracker anymore. It's now Theo's job tracker. I've had this icon pretty much since the start, since before I started streaming. The Curious Library, who's another YouTuber, actually helped me make this because I was just having such trouble getting the transparency on the icon actually working. I'll load up a bigger one so you can see it. So it's literally just Theo holding a little spyglass because she's tracking jobs. I don't know. It's very silly, but I'm quite happy with it. So slight rename, added in the logo up here as well. And just generally, like I say, I think like overall I'm pretty happy with how easy it was to get things fairly consistent. You'll also see that when you select a company, you get some additional tabs up here, but most of them are grayed out until you select an actual role, and then they pop in. So questions and interview details don't do anything right now. Role details. Oh, you'll also see that actually when I click on the role, so if I go to, I think this one has some. So I click on the company and it goes to the company details. I click on the role and it jumps across to the role details. I'll probably add in some sort of CSS to show the styling differences here. One thing I was thinking about, and I know that frequent channel friend 891 would be very disappointed with me, but I was thinking about doing like little, you know, the little folder cards that you get where it's sort of like a trapezoid to show which one is currently selected and having the other ones like slightly differently background colored. My design skills are atrocious, so we'll see about that. It might just be that the selected one is currently underlined, perhaps. Okay, that's that. Details view navbar, that is, G. RX. So the details nav bar is what I just talked about. So I did fix logs. Vincent, I know you asked if you could fix them for me. I felt that I should probably not put it back into main with the log still broken. However, I did notice while putting them back in, there are still some quirks. If you really want to have a look at it, then you can. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. So there were two quirks. One was that it takes a really long time to, like, there's a lot in here, and some of this stuff is down to, it seems to be when you close the application, stuff just creates errors. So I'm not 100% sure what some of these are, like this write signal, finish in reactive context. I think there's probably just something quirky. I think I'm probably doing reactivity wrong. No, don't worry about it. Like, I literally never even gave you the chance, Vincent. So I just knew that I had to fix it myself before I merged it back into main. So there are, like, I've started adding some issues onto the repo. You do not need to go and do them, but if you want to, then we can chat about it, and that's absolutely fine. Don't worry though. So yeah, we can see that there's some issue in here somewhere that I still have not, like, I'm doing something wrong with reactivity because I'm probably not doing it the Dioxys way, which is actually another issue, which is if I clear the logs by hitting the clear button, which is currently not highlighting for whatever reason, you'll notice they didn't go away. And this is something to do with reactivity. If I go away and come back again, they're gone. So in some places this was working. I've never really understood what makes it work and what doesn't. So editing this, I think this does work. So that changed, right? It's still the same component though. So I've got something right here and something wrong over here. No idea. I brought the link back. So the way that I got this working, actually, I should probably talk through that real quick. I will try not to spend too long on it because it's not all that interesting, but I don't know, maybe people would like to see. So I basically created, sorry, that just configures the logging, which is slightly different to reading back the logs. Reading the logs comes in here. We've got this log fetcher. Yeah, log fetcher. So I have a JSON log fetcher now, which is just a struct that I created that can get you the logs. So by using this, I was able to add this into the application at the top level. Sorry, brain, need to slow down a little bit, Daniel. I was able to add this into the context of the desktop app, but log fetcher implements, JSON log fetcher implements log fetcher. So there is another trait here that would allow me to use the I might need to think about this actually, because I suspect I've probably hard-coded this. Let me think. I'll bet. Yeah, I have hard-coded this. So I need to work out a way of passing in this type, because I doubt we can just do like a impl here. That's almost certainly not going to work, right? Nah, okay. Let's leave that out for now. Also, for some reason, I don't know why I've ended up doing this twice. This is the weirdness about reactivity. So we've got another use resource in here because this is an asynchronous action, which components can't be asynchronous. So I've got like the log getter here, then I'm cloning the log getter, then I'm passing that into an async closure. It's all very weird and none of this is right. So I do need to work out how to do that better. Never mind, it's fine. Oh yeah, so this is the other thing. So I sort of mentioned here that these are, oh yeah, so the logs also, because there's so many of them, the log files get really big really quickly. So I had fixed the problem, but the application still wasn't working. And the reason was the log file was 600 megabytes long and it was just struggling to read it in. So there's still, I need to think about whether I do log rotation. I definitely need to clean up the existing errors. Anyway. And yeah, like I say, I still am having issue with sort of reactivity and when components get redrawn. For example, if I go to, one of these has got two. Oh, you can't see it now? Interesting. So when I was playing, oh, there you go. So I think it's going to be a bit difficult over the stream because it lasts about a frame. So I don't even know if you're actually going to be able to see it. But sometimes it seems like this is refreshing the companies list when I'm going between these views, but this is the only thing that's actually changing. The URL does change, which in theory changes everything under the home thing here. So I'm not sure if I've maybe made another mistake inside of home when I'm getting these bits here. You will see though that I only set, I think, yeah, I only set the company if the company is not the current company. So no idea why this would be breaking. It shouldn't be changing the context when the company doesn't change. This context shouldn't change. So this shouldn't, because the context doesn't get updated, it shouldn't cause anything else to refresh. It's very odd, very odd. Maybe it's not. I mean, it may not even be doing that. It may just be a quirk of the renderer itself. Anyway, so that's that. Oops, did the wrong button again. RX, there we go. It shouldn't is something I think a lot when running async. Yeah, async is quirky. It's, I mean, gosh, wait until the last episode in the Iris series, because I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but so far in Iris, we have not used a single other crate. Everything has been pure Rust. With async, there's no way to do it out of the box. You have to write something to run async code or use someone else's library. So here we're using a lot of Tokyo, although we're not set, well, actually there is an example of using Tokyo in main. So you can see here that we've got this RT runtime thing being created by Tokyo, allowing me to run an async bit of code inside of a non-async function. So in Rust, you have to set this up basically. Like there's no built-in runtime for asynchronous code. So the final boss of Iris is going to be writing our own one of these. So it's going to, if you think async is hard now, wait until I've just I made an absolute mountain out of a molehill to just avoid using Tokyo in the final episode. But hopefully, my hope is that this isn't totally superfluous. It will hopefully help people understand like the terms and contexts and things. I can wait. It's going to be a lot. Macros is, I've been editing macros today. That should be done soon. So Patreon should have it later in the week, hopefully. And then it'll be up on YouTube probably on the 1st again. Sorry, not macros, beg your pardon. Threads. Threads is being edited today. That should be up hopefully later this week on Patreon, and 1st of July for YouTube. And then I am also working on the book part of macros, which I'm actually really enjoying, and it's turned out to be way easier to explain than I thought. And I think I've avoided using macros for absolutely forever, at least the declarative ones, the sort of macro rules macros. And they're really not that bad, and I feel like I probably should just sat down and properly learned them a long time ago. Okay, so today we're looking at window management on Dioxys. And that is, when we run Dioxys, if I open it up again, it opens in a window. And there are various aspects of this that we can control. So for example, right now, for whatever reason, Dioxys runs it always on top, which is why it's always sort of been a bit of a problem. We can change that. We can also tell it that it has to start at a certain size and that it can't go below certain sizes, which would be important. I would also like to change the icon down here. This is the current, I think you can just about see that on the stream. There's a little white box down here. I think we can change that. And then the final thing that I think we want to look at is, oh yeah, event listeners. So what I'd like to be able to do is, if you've got a company and role selected, I'd like to be able to do Alt+C and Alt+R to jump between these two views, and then we'll come on to the other ones later. And the reason for that is, if you're in an interview and you've got it open, you're doing a remote interview or whatever, I want you to be able to jump around to get details faster. So that's why I would like to do that. Okay, so so the concern, however, is right now, the window manager comes through a crate called Rye, but Dioxys have said, I wonder if I've still got it open. Nope. Dioxys. I mean, actually, this is probably going to be close. And then we go to, is it? I think it's here, desktop. Yeah, so DocSys Desktop is built on top of Rye, but in the future, we plan on moving to Blitz. Now, Blitz actually looks pretty good, but it's not ready yet. So in the future, a lot of what I'm doing is probably going to go out the window. However, my understanding of how this works is that Rye sits on top of Tau, and a lot of the stuff that we're actually going to be doing today is actually Tau-based. So, I don't know if you can hear that knocking. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, so Tau does the actual Windows stuff. So I think we might be all right. We'll see. Oh yeah, okay, so if it's a web view rendering library, maybe it doesn't matter, because I'm almost certain that Blitz also uses Tau under the hood. So if we're only managing... did I see Tau in here? Maybe I didn't. Nope. Maybe we won't. Well, doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm absolutely fine. I really like this library. I'm really happy to do my best to work through it and support it and learn new things as they change it and stuff. It's not like I'm using this in a real job. Okay, so the actual work I want to get through, I have already begun adding a config because I wanted to make sure that I knew how to do that before starting the stream, because that would have been a disaster if I couldn't even get that far. So we'll talk through that quickly. So there is a with config. So in the DocSys launcher, apparently don't need that at the moment. I think it must have come in from Prelude maybe. Happy. Okay, cool. So in here we've got a with CFG, and that takes a config type. This config is coming from desktop. However, it implements, I think it's called launch config. There's a trait called launch config. Yeah, here we go. So as long as launch config is implemented for whatever you're using, you can pass it through. So if we do go on to making like a web version of this, a mobile version of this, then we just put in different launch configs and it should be okay. And so I think let's swap these windows around. Let's jump over to having a look at the config itself. I don't think it's in this one. Let's have a look. I think there's sorry, I probably should have gotten this up first, but I'm pretty sure there's a DocSys Desktop crate. That's fine. DocSys Desktop config. I'm sure we can find it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll start, I think, by trying to set up the window to behave in certain ways. So we use this with window and a window builder. I love the builder pattern. It might be something, sorry, I'm going to take a quick drink. One of the things that I planned on doing with Iris when I originally started out was to include a bunch of common patterns and things. So I might do that, but separately from Iris. The builder pattern is definitely one I would talk about because it's incredibly powerful in the things that you can do with Rust. I don't know, they probably do work in some other languages, but are very rusty in the way that you do them. So for example, you could create a builder type for something that requires certain values and then have functions that add those values in, but you can only run the build at the end of it all if all of the functions that all of the bits of data you need have been added. So if you miss something out, build is not a method that exists on the object you currently have, or the type you currently have. But at the same time, you can mess with the order of things and things. It's a really, really cool pattern, especially in Rust. Anyway, so we're going to want to create this. So I think let's start off by moving this out into a new file. We will do, it probably comes up here, mod config. Create that file. However, I want to first of all go back to here and then just move this in there. So I think F6 config should move that. And it did make it public for me, which is nice. So then I can also in here put like a FN window config and keep it nice and separate. Builder. Cool. Can probably, do I want to keep loading this up for a minute? Let's leave it loading up for a minute. And then I think if we, the first thing that kind of annoys me, I wonder if that actually makes a difference. Oh, I haven't included it yet. So window with window config. And then will it stop being always on top? It did. So this is already working out. I'm in just such uncharted territory here, uncharted waters, that I was not 100% sure whether that would actually work. I think we do want it to be resizable, minimizable. I think a lot of this we probably do. The title we want to change, because at the moment, I think this is going to be the title, and it's currently Tau. Oh, it's currently Tau window, which it wasn't just a moment ago. If I were to delete this, save. Don't know why the auto refresh isn't working. You'll see it's got Dioxys with a little tent on it. However, when we added, so it must have like a default configuration that it uses. When we added in ours, it stopped using that configuration. So let's get that going. Title with title, and then it's an into string, so a string slice will be fine. And then we can do Theo's job tracker. And have I accidentally paused this? Is that what's happened? Just double check that. Just every so often I hit P by mistake, automatically builds I don't know. Not sure. Maybe it's because it needs to do a rebuild to know that there's an extra file there. Let's just do a quick whole new one. There we go. Okay. And now we've got our title. This is working disturbingly well. After my last couple of streams sort of went a bit at the end, we'll see how this goes. So with transparent sounds fun. Let's not do that though. What I would like with window icon, there's going to be an icon somewhere. We'll come to that later. I want this sizes first. So we've got position. Here we go. Min inner size and min max size. I think these are probably the ones that we probably care the most about. However, the size, yay, is so recognizable. Yeah, Vincent, yeah. Yeah, it's, sorry, I feel like I'm probably making people feel a bit called out. It's a very software engineering thing, isn't it? How do I check the size of this? Computed, maybe? So, want to go probably up to the body. Nope. HTML. Not sure. Is it maybe just not updating as I resize? That is exactly what it is. Am I missing it telling me? No. Some browsers tell you as you resize, maybe. Here we go. Oh, look at that. So we probably can get away with about, let's say 800 is going to be the min width, and 600 is, maybe it's a bit small. We'll start with 800 by 600. With min inner size. So it's going to be, right, so we have this other type called size, which is, oh, interesting. No idea. Into size. Does it tell us anything about how to do this? Okay, so you can create a new one, and that also takes into size. So what implements into size? We've got a couple of froms here, so they're probably a good logical size representing in pixels. So that's probably what we actually want. Logical size P, I guess that's just any number type. Vincent says, oh, that's a nice tool, actually. Clearly not a web dev. I need to learn some JS. I decided at least. Yeah, I mean, yeah, everyone can try and should try JS. I think it's a a language for which there are many lessons. It's an interesting one. Like JavaScript, I really love it. I really love JavaScript, but I kind of also feel like it's a guilty pleasure because it is a bit of a dumpster fire underneath, but it's a dumpster fire that, I mean, it doesn't hurt it too much, and it's something you can learn a lot about, and I think there's some really cool things that you can find in there. So I've got like, when I work with people who are like completely new to JavaScript, I've got a few, like, even for like existing developers, I have a few sort of stupid things you can do in JavaScript that just sort of like blow people's mind. One of which I call my 3 dogs. And you basically create 3 dogs, and at the end you have like basically 2 dogs. Like you don't have the 3 that you thought you did, even though it would make sense. I think like JavaScript is sort of a language that Rust has learned from a lot as well, but perhaps more in things that people liked about JavaScript but could have been done better. So JavaScript is obviously not the only language with async await in it, but I think that the way that JavaScript does it isn't ideal, and Rust has taken some lessons from that. And also one of the things that's sort of quoted about why Aeon, I'll come to you in a second. I think that's a really good question. Rust Editions, when that first was sort of announced back in like pre-2018, I think they sort of talked about they were going to do it this way earlier than that. They mentioned that basically they didn't want to get into how JavaScript handles versions, which is that it just doesn't. And everything that's old still works from, what is it now, like a 30-year-old language or something. So all of the really old stuff, all of the stuff that nobody does anymore still has to work because it has to continue supporting everything on the web. Python, on the other hand, when it moved from version 2 to version 3, because of how you couldn't basically build something in version 3 that used packages from version 2. So everyone basically just had to wait for everyone that they depended on to move to version 3 before they could also move to version 3, so moving to version 3 for the majority of Python developers took like 10 years and was very much it was kind of a hockey stick move. Like a few people did it, and then as more people did it, it enabled more people to move as well. So it accelerated quite a lot towards the end, but it was a difficult one to move. PHP's way of doing it is basically like they break stuff and they don't worry too much about it. Your stuff might work in the future or it might not, but if you're going between major versions, you should just check that your code actually does still work, which isn't terrible. Whereas Rust's way of doing it is basically like, if you wrote a library in 2015 Rust, I can still consume it in 2024 Rust. It's not a, what version are we on? Sorry, 19, 15, 18, 21. Yeah, 24 would have been the last version, I think. See, even remembering what edition of Rust we're on is no longer that important because everything will just work together and it's absolutely fine. So Aeon asks, what's the best language to start with and what should I go into? I would say it's probably worth asking yourself the second question first, because that can help you decide on what language to start off with. I feel like I should warn you that right now, software engineering it's rough to get into at the moment. We've come through sort of several years of it being very, very easy to get a job in software engineering, and it's just desperate for more people, to basically there not really being a lot of jobs. I think I've mentioned on stream, like I've applied to over 130 jobs this year, and I have 15 plus years of experience in the industry, and it's a rough time. So I don't want to put you off though. If you're stable, you have a job and you just want to get into programming, then that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm not saying that no one can get a job right now. Maybe it's just me. And I don't think that you should let that put you off. Just make sure that you're like financially secure and not putting yourself at risk by just diving into it. But that said, what to get into? So if you're getting into, yeah, so how come that happened? I think several things happened at once. I tell you what, I'll answer that question in a second. I'll answer your first question first, so I'm not getting too diverted. So if you want to get into games development, it's usually best to start off with an engine. So if you are sort of hobbying, Unity or Godot or Unreal Engine are all great choices. My current favorite is Godot because it's very easy to pick up, and Godot supports C# or GD script. GDScript is really easy to pick up, and I highly recommend it. But obviously, you're not going to be able to use it anywhere else. However, learning to program, a lot of the structures and the concepts are the same, even if the language looks different. So once you've learned one language, it's not very difficult to move. If you want to get into web development, then there's just learn JavaScript and maybe TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, meaning that it's JavaScript with more stuff attached to it. But it can really hold your hand and save you from a lot of problems. But you kind of need to know JavaScript, or the basics first. You can use JavaScript on the front end and back end, which is why I'm recommending it. Obviously, when I got into web development, I actually started out with PHP, so I could really only write back end services. I had to learn JavaScript later in order to do sort of front end interactivity stuff. But nowadays, you can write your back ends in JavaScript. You can write your front ends in JavaScript. You can write web workers lambdas, so cloud functions and stuff. Everything you can write JavaScript and just run it absolutely anywhere. So no doubt use that for web development. If you're going into data science, then Python is de facto the one to choose. I think, is it Julia and R and maybe the other two languages that a lot of people use, but Python is definitely the best starting place for that. Similar for sort of normal sciences as well. A lot of people use Python in sort of non-data sciences because you are still using a lot of data, I guess. So yeah, if you want to go into other industries, if you want to do embedded, then right now, C++ is probably still the language to go to, but I really I obviously use Rust for embedded. It hasn't totally blown up in that industry just yet. Similar for desktop applications, C++ is the way to go. C++ is, it is a gun that's permanently loaded, even when it's aimed at your own feet. So it's one to be really careful with. But it's everywhere. It powers everything. It's, if you want to get into financial services, I'm actually not sure as much with financial services. I feel like it's probably Java. I have steered clear of Java since my uni days after I found I didn't like it very much at that time. Not if you like Java, good for you. That's fine. But I've always had issues with it. It's probably, given that uni for me was more than 20 years ago, I think it's probably changed quite a lot. COBOL for banks, yeah, that's an interesting, that's one that just won't die. That's quite fun. So sorry, let me catch up. So what happened to the job industry? I think there are 3 things that kind of happened. One is the start of the pandemic meant that a lot of businesses could not cope and had to close. Then a lot of businesses did really well. So an example is a company that I worked for during the pandemic was Peloton, who make exercise equipment. So they did very well during the pandemic when people couldn't go outside. Unfortunately, Peloton and a lot of other companies did not do so well coming out of the pandemic. So Peloton, Spotify, not Spotify, Shopify, beg your pardon, and a bunch of other companies suddenly lost huge customer bases as people went back to shops. They went, back outside, back to the gym. And so that caused another big contraction. And then additionally, our industry just can't survive without other industries. We don't make software for software's sake. And so as the sort of, I don't think we're quite in a recession, but we always seem to be very, very close to a recession. It makes investors less willing to invest in new business, which means that new jobs just haven't opened up as investors sort of go for stuff. With the one exception of AI, which people on the stream know I have complex feelings about. There is a lot of cool AI stuff, but that the cool AI stuff has existed for a decade or more. It's not the new LLM stuff. I'm just deeply unimpressed by most LLM stuff. Not to say that it's not totally useful, but it's not something you can base an entire business on. It's just not good enough for that. And the business ideas are largely not good enough to support it. So there's been a huge sort of increase in companies building AI stuff and AI companies growing. And they're getting a lot of investment, which is really irritating because it sort of strangles everything else, because that's where all the what little investment money there is currently going into AI. And I personally, this is very much just my opinion, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to pay off for most people. But then neither did blockchain, neither did big data. So I guess we'll just see. We'll see what happens, whether it bounces back and stuff. Yeah, the one exception to that, of course, is the games industry, which has other problems going on at the moment, which I think I'm not the person to go to for that information, but there's a lot of YouTubers who are talking about the current state of the games industry and what's going on there. But yeah, I think largely corporate greed might be the issue with that one, as it is everywhere. Anyway, sorry, Vincent said, I was in the same boat a few years ago. In the end, just learn a language that you like. Yeah, strong agree with that. Most languages are very similar concepts. I noticed you can pick up others faster. Yeah, the more languages you learn, the faster you pick them up. And I think that while there is definitely a benefit for getting like really into one language and really understanding the ins and outs of it, I think that can often hurt you more than it benefits you as well. So, you know, someone who is an expert in Java, or even someone who's an expert in Rust, is always going to be a better Rust engineer than me. I'm definitely a what's it? It's polyglot, polymath, whatever it is. When you know a lot of programming languages, that's me. So someone who is an expert in these things is always going to know more than me. But the flexibility to be able to move between things, to be able to communicate with people who work in different areas, to learn patterns from other languages and other frameworks and sort of other groups and things, I personally feel trumps. But again, it really is very much down to the individual, as Vincent points out. Start with something that looks fun. Like I mentioned earlier, JavaScript is definitely very fun. It's just a bit weird. Free Code Camp, yeah, that's a good one. So basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, strong instance feels stuck in tutorial hell. I think that's another thing. So, and this is so a few years ago, I tried learning Blender. And I don't want to be too critical because I feel like the Donut Blender guy has probably helped a lot of people, but I think that also a lot of people go through the donut tutorial for Blender, get to the end and realize they can't even remake the same donut because I don't think it's necessarily the best way to learn. So tutorials can be really helpful, but also so can just like doing things, finding something small and challenging yourself with it. Good go-tos are things like to-do lists, although you would have to manage state for something like that. So, I mean, feel free to just like make a job tracker. It's not like, you know, it's a one and done thing. You can definitely try and make a job tracker and work out how you go through the process of it. But yeah, Blender is a 3D application. It allows you to make 3D models and things. So although I'm technically a web developer, I have always been really interested in games development. So a friend and I have several times tried to make games together on various things. I try to do game jams every so often. So I'll probably be doing GMTK's game jam this year again. I don't think I've missed it yet. I haven't failed yet. I always just put something out. As long as it's got a game in it, it's fine. Certainly never come close to winning, but there's like 9,000 entries every year now. Yeah, as Vincent says, just start coding projects for yourself. And one simple one that I did very early on was, just for myself, just to practice, was basically like a flashcard app in the command line. So you could record things into a SQLite or something database, and then you could test yourself in a sort of a different mode that would bring it up and ask you to type in what the word was. So that was when I was trying to learn Japanese, which I think I'm just always going to fail on. Anyway, sorry, I've probably rambled on quite a lot now. What language am I using right now? I'm using Rust with Dioxys as the framework for the language. Logical, what did we decide that was? Sorry, that was logical size, right? Size. New. And then I can't even remember what we said. Let's do 800 by 600. I think that was what we said. So now we should not be able to make it smaller than that. Oh, there we go. That's okay. I'm actually really happy that you asked Aeon, let's just have a look. There's probably going to be a few people on stream right now. Oh my goodness. 81 people on stream. I don't know what you're all doing here, but thank you so much. So I'm sure other people will have the question and other people will watch the video later. And you know, I think it's a really common question to have. So yeah, thank you for asking it.
Yeah.
Bonjian's right. CLIs are a great way to start learning. Even with like JavaScript, you can use Node to write CLI applications, and it's a great place to start. And obviously Rust. Rust is great for writing CLI applications as well. So where did we get to? I think I'm still trying to size the window. I'm new to this programming sector. I've learned Python, C, and C++. Now learning DSA. I don't know what DSA is. When should I jump to development? Immediately. Just if you've got like any small thing, just start building. I think it's the best way to learn. I've programmed up so many stupid little things in my sort of like quest to learn. Actually, one I keep coming back to, one that I wrote a long time ago when I was very early in my career, and I just wanted to learn how web frameworks worked. I wrote a framework myself called II API, which is how I learned sort of how to build frameworks. And I did use that legitimately in one project when I was working at a company called The Foundry, and it worked out quite well. Data structure and algorithms. I wouldn't worry about it. People overemphasize on this. I'll probably be doing a video in the future about me complaining about the overemphasis on data structure and algorithms, particularly in interviews, because you don't tend to use them too much. I'm not saying they're not important at all, but I was... a go-to example is like I was recently interviewing with Meta, and I dropped out just because I do not think they'd have the best interview process. I mean, I also don't think that they're necessarily the most ethical company to go and work for right now. But one of the things that I find really egregious is they have this overemphasis on algorithmic interview questions. So I got asked to basically like rotate or like serialize a binary tree in this really specific way. And not only have I never needed to do that, I don't think I've ever used a binary tree in my real job. So those sorts of questions always kind of annoy me. I would just look for like practical things that you can do. Like coding isn't as much science as people would have you believe. A lot of it's just solving problems for people. I have, how many years of experience do I have? So I got my first proper job in 2011. I was a bit of a late bloomer in terms of like my real career. So about 14, 15 years, yeah. Actually, I mean, I was actually doing programming for not a programming job prior to that as well. I used to work for Tesco in their customer service center up in Dundee. And I was writing software for them as well. I'm not sure if they ever even actually used the thing that I built for them, but I got frustrated at at a specific process. So I wrote a piece of software to solve that process. But by the time I wrote it, I'd already moved off the team that was using it. So I don't know if they ever actually kept at it. That was a fun one though. Sorry, where am I at? So that's my size. I wanted to max size. I don't think I care about, but what I probably do want is there an initial size? With inner size is probably the right one. So let's just make it a little bit bigger than it actually starts off. So with inner size, I think this is, oops, oh no, logical size, new. I think it's probably going to be the same, right? Let's do a larger one. Let's do like 1200 by 900, something like that. It's not great, is it? Let's do 1200 by... Am I being weird about this? I am being weird about this. 900 probably is high. Why is... okay. Now I've got myself in an interesting, like... This is odd to me because, wait, this window is 1280 by, sorry, I'm getting myself confused between screens. What resolution is this? That's, oh goodness, hang on, display, there we go. So, this window, the Dell is 1920 by 1080, so I shouldn't go over that. So yeah, let's say like 800 by something. Just want to make it a little bit more sort of this sort of size. Samir, thanks for the ideas. Got a sub, thank you very much. See you soon. I'll ask questions when I'm confused. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to join the Discord. I do try to like help people there. I know the channel has a very Rust-centric view, but I am familiar with a few other languages, mainly JavaScript and a little bit of PHP, although my PHP is now really out of date. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Vincent telling us about his very fortunate situation. Very jealous. Discord link should be on the description. Let's double check that. That would be really bad if I'm telling people to go there and it's not there. Stream settings, analytics. Why can I just go there? Oof, why did YouTube load up in white? That was weird. Yes, it should be in the description. If that doesn't work, let me know and I'll try and edit it. I had an issue a little while ago. I think it might have changed a couple of times over the course of the series. I don't have enough, whatever Discord calls it, like the turbo things, Nitro, to make it a permanent link. So every so often they just change it on me and I just have to go through like every single video and update it. Yeah, so Samir, let me know if that works or not. Link is not working. Fantastic. Okay. Why? Invite is invalid. Brilliant. Okay, give me a second. I will pop it in the chat here. This happened, I think this might have happened on stream a few streams ago. I've just remembered while doing this that it does not work on Mac. Let me just go to Discord itself. I will try and get that to you as quickly as possible. Oh, there we go, hang on. Invite, copy. I'll put it in the chat here. And then I'll try and update the description in a second. Can I do that from here? I think I can't update the description. Oh, there we go. Yep, there we go. So that's going to mean that I think all of my other videos also need updating. That's very frustrating. I'm going to have to work out something to do with that. Never mind. Okay. So we're getting somewhere with the window size stuff. I think we're in a good place right now. I think this is an okay size to open it at. Where did it go? Here we go. And you can shrink it only this far. I think that's fine. I don't really care if you open it up absolutely massive. Does not matter. You should probably be able to maximize it and so forth. So we're in a good place. I think we can call that done on the task number 1. Well, that was a bit more than the initial window size, but it's fine. So now we need to set an icon. So we have our icon ready to go. We have it, where did we put it? Icons here. Now the issue is that the icon, I was looking at this earlier. Where are we? Oh, it's not on the window, it's on the constructor here, I think. Oh, now that might, sorry, this might be helpful later. The with event loop might be useful later. I think it might be this one, but it does just say set custom icon for this application. I don't actually know if it's going to be that one that we were looking at. So we'll have a go. Now, the second issue is that this icon is actually in Tau, which is more complicated. And even more complicated than that, we have this like from RGB. So I don't know. It also looks like there's nothing there's no from implementations. So unless there is an into icon in Dioxys. No, I don't think they're gonna. So they have assets. Dioxys asset. So a lot of stuff, when you load stuff in Dioxys, it wants you to use the assets macro. The reason being is that this allows it to bundle things together like in sensible ways for different types of application, depending on what you're building. So particularly important if you're building something that could be desktop, mobile, web, all those sorts of things. Now, the actual thing that it gives us back, though, And oh yeah, this has also been a slight frustration. It needs to be resolved relative to the bundle, which is actually like desktop. So I've ended up duplicating a lot of stuff. So we'll probably end up having to put stuff in to assets here in order to make that work. If we can even do it this way. Let's have a look at that actually. I'm going to start off with the largest size icon. The other thing is that this should actually already work. Now, when I bundle it, it does, I'm pretty sure. So this should bundle it for Mac, which is what I'm currently using. And this might take a second, so I'll see how. See you later, Samir. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Oh, that's quite funny. That's because I moved the. That's because I moved it into the config file. Cool. This is nice. This might be the first time I've seen it not go over the number that it's supposed to be. Dioxys for some reason can't. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see. So we should now have a bundled version of desktop, which I think goes into target. It might be in here. I probably should have deleted target before I started doing this. I don't think it's in there actually. It's in here. DMG, right? Okay, so if I open this, Finder, DMG, we've got the icons file here, and if I open the DMG file, you can see that it does have the icon on it. I probably already have this installed. Yeah, let's just replace it. And then I should just be able to open Job Tracker properly. Okay, so maybe I don't need to do anything because this definitely has the... Why aren't you loading? Uh-oh. Well, that's going to be a problem to look at later. Let's do... Let's quickly open it up here and we'll just look and see if there's like a mass in the log files again. Maybe that's why it's taking a while. Help. Clear. Well, this one loads up all right, so... Has it? Maybe it's secretly opened up a... This isn't signed? That's odd. Cool. Sorry, welcome everyone in the Discord. It just seemed like 3 of you have just joined. Thank you. I don't know why that's not loading. Let's just force quit it and just try it once more. It could be that it's not signed. Most modern operating systems are very insistent on you making sure that you've signed the binary to prove that it actually works. Hey 891, we were talking about you earlier. So okay, let's not worry about it. We're going to call the... What do I do here? I can call it the icon done because it does work with the icon, and the preview build, the fact that the preview build doesn't show the icon is probably fine. I don't know why that's not building correctly though. Or not running correctly. Let's not worry about it. I'm just going to tick it off. It's fine. Don't worry, it wasn't anything ominous. I was just talking about games development and trying to learn Blender. Let's close that and that. Come back to those another time. So the last thing I want to do is this whole concept of events. Where are we? I think we were looking at it in here, right? So we want to set up like an event listener. And I'm curious how I bet there's nothing. No, it's not really. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Provides a way to retrieve events from the system. So event loop can be seen more or less as a context. Calling event loop new initializes everything that will be required to create windows. Oh, we're in Tau. Yeah, okay. So conceptually, I need to bear in mind that this is not part of Dioxys. This is part of the window manager underneath. Let's see. I was pretty sure there was other event stuff in here. With custom, with event loop, with custom event handler. Sets a custom callback to run whenever the event pool receives an event. So, target the associated window with an event loop. Let's think about this. What if, sorry, let me take another drink. What if we just print some debug information when keys are pressed? I don't like where this is going. Right. Window event. Yes, I think this is what I was looking at before. Question is, what actually takes it as a was reasonably sure that there was a way to take events in at this point. It might be this actually, yeah. Now the challenge is, what the heck is an event loop window target? Oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, I think this might be all right. So we are going to take in, let's see. I'm going to just, this isn't the right place to put it, but it's where I'm going to start. I'm just going to put it inside of the config file here. And we will just, for now, do a keyboard event tester. Now, we obviously have some specific requirements on this, so it has to be something that takes a reference to an event with a user window event and event loop target, window target. So I think we can probably get away with this. So what did I say? Event, sorry. Event. What kind of event are you? Tau. Oh dear, that's not going to work, is it? I think unless Dioxys re-exports Tau, would be in here if it did, right? Ooh. Is that the right one? Oh, it seemed to have come away from it. Event, Tau, event. Great. It takes a generic, right? Gosh, Daniel, what have you done? Event. A T static. What the heck is the T? A user event T. So I think we're probably going to have to look at the Tau documentation. I'm hoping that this is going to... I was hoping it would have it written down in some sort of like actual guide. Nope. Ah, here we go. Oh yeah, okay, in the module itself. Perfect. So So event enum and assorted supporting types. These are sent to the closure given to event loop run, where they get processed and used to modify the program state. For more details, see this. Some of the events represent, see the root level documentation. Come back to that in a second. Some of these events represent different parts of a traditional event handling loop. If you could approximate the basic ordering. Okay, so they're passing in things to this event handler. So that doesn't tell me how to get it out again. So let's go to the top level thing. Oh well. Yeah, it's basically actually exactly what we were looking for. Could have started here when it told us to. So we have this event loop handler. I kind of just wanted to shove the one thing on. I'm not going to get away with it, am I? Mate. I mean, I might be able to get away with just avoiding the issue, potentially. Oh, hang on a minute. We've now gone so far back away from the thing that we wanted to look at. No, we haven't. What? Have we? Wait. Yeah, it was here. Got too many tabs open. So then the second thing is the event loop window target, which I guess we just do like target. Oh, these are references. Just caught up. Friends don't let friends learn Blender if they want to join doing 3D. Oof. Oof. That's probably fair. Yeah, I imagine. Event. I think if you probably, I imagine like a lot of people use it for more like indie stuff than professional stuff. The fact that it's free helps. It's much like the JS bootcamp thing. We had someone in earlier who was in free code camp, but I've learned so much. I don't have a job. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the boot camps. I don't know. Boot camps have changed over time. I think that for me, when I hire, and I've hired several like very early on developers, it's less about what you know right now and how you learn. And I definitely think, yeah, like you have to go a bit beyond any individual thing, whether it's a tutorial, code camp, or anything like that. You sort of have to put more of you have to start doing your own thing, and it's really hard to just sort of like get that spark to build, to know what to build next, like get that initial idea. But I think once you sort of like get started just fixing something that you're annoyed by, that's usually the way to go. Anyway, event loop window target. Let's see if I can bring this in. Event loop window target. Oh, user event window. This is probably the wrong way to do this, isn't it? But then I need a user. Maybe there's an example of this. Nope, that's not what we want, because that's more about the okay. Does this person have more examples? I'm glad you guys in chat are having fun with the Helix. I definitely need to continue upskilling on it. Settings. So this is Nice. True CFG. Loads of people watching and no answer. Here we go. This looks like it might be something. With window, we've got this. Then we launch. Oops. Always on top. Set decorations. I don't think this is what we want, is it? This example demonstrates how to handle window events and change. Oh, okay. Implement window dragging. Maybe it is what we want. Set the window to maximized. Oh. Okay, maybe I'm overthinking this. If we have access to so one thing that I don't know this is necessarily right, but if the problem is I don't really want this in the use your words, Daniel. So I want to be able to get keyboard input, but I don't necessarily want to use the window object inside of UI because this is desktop specific. So that's probably going to cause a problem. That said, maybe we can use, maybe we can wrap it in a generic type to get the specific thing that we want. And it looks like, I don't see anything about keyboard inputs from this point though. That's the only downside. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Let's go into, so in main we should be able to access window down here because this is technically a component. And maybe this is the right place for it actually. And then what we kind of want is either an event listener, keyboard listener. This doesn't seem to be doing anything that we want, does it? Is it like a keyboard? That would be optimistic. I'm just trying out things at this point, aren't I? Keyboard types, I don't think that's likely to be anything, is it? Okay, fine. Sorry, I've ignored the chat. You will win me over, yeah. On Helix. Loves it, hold your hand with the tooltips. A lot less memorization. Yeah, I agree. So as you type things, it sort of remember. I also just need to look at it more. So I keep making the mistake of like, for example, if I want to tick this off, which I can't yet, but I keep pressing X, which obviously selects everything. I need to remember that it's in normal mode, which it tells me in the bottom left-hand corner, then go to replace and then X. But it doesn't matter. I need to just get better and more into it. I've gotten better with the HJKL navigation and relied less on the arrow keys. I like how everyone's just diving into the Helix thing. 891's done well to push the agenda. Okay, what the heck am I doing? Desktop context probably is not necessarily what what we want. That's fun that we can open the dev tool at button push. Wait. Create RAI event handler. Isn't this what we want? It's the exact same thing, isn't it? Okay, let's do create. Oh, whoops. RAI event handler. Oh. I think it's this one. I think it's actually this one. Hotkey, yeah, this is the one. Okay, gosh, I've been so silly. We'll do, hold Hotkey. What was it called? Oh, it is a hotkey. Uh-oh. Is it not exported? That would be quite funny and sad. No. Global hotkey. Could it be exposed from something else? Or is there an into for it maybe? That would be nice. That'd be a from, right? Try from. No. Unless we get a try into on that. I'm guessing that that probably expects just like a... Let's have a look at the source for this. Pass hotkey. Hotkey split. It might work. That would be really silly. Sorry, too far. Oh, that's odd. Okay, so this would be very, very stupid. It doesn't look like hotkey is exported. Let's just try in the wrong file. One more time, just pull it in from like use Dioxys desktop. And then it was global hotkeys. Doesn't look like it. So it doesn't look like it's re-exported. So what we might be able to do is this, which is extraordinarily silly. Could not make hotkey. Might be able to extract that and let Rust infer its type, but we'll start with this. And then this is going to take a number of options, but all I want to do is say, let's just do a debug. Alt was pressed. That can be that. Now the callback takes some options. Create short callback is, oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't take anything. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Big white screen. Result must be used. I'm wondering if, oh, might as well at least write the actual thing in, Daniel. Expect could not create. Shortcut. Now, sometimes it just needs a little kick. That's not the case here, so let's have a look at the actual error. Unsupported key Alt. Interesting. Let's just correct the message then. So here's the app. Now if I press Alt+C. Oh, wait, why did it come up twice? It's coming up a lot of times. So it'd probably need like a oh, there's a lot of bounce or something in that. It would have been nice to be able to do Alt on its own, so that I could highlight what's actually going to, what is under the Alt keys, if that makes sense. I wonder if there's a sensible way of doing that. It's probably using the proper, yes, won't work with this. So we probably would need like a proper event listener that actually listens to the keyboard input. I think this is probably okay to start off with. I'm probably already going too deep into building this up. Sorry, I'm not drinking enough again. Okay, sorry if that's making horrible noises on the mic. I should be using I've got my little pause screen to thank my Patreons, but I keep forgetting. Let's see if we can. What would be the most sensible way of doing this? We've got our global router down here. I think this will render out the main nav bar, which if we go to that, this then contains sort of everything else. So we've got the nav bar and stuff, but down here, this is where the thing that is being routed to will be put from there. Quite a nice way of doing it. I have not quite got my head around it properly yet. But yeah, you can. This sort of says like this is where the nav bar goes, and then inside of that is a thing that says like here is the thing that's being routed to. This is where it goes. So what we could do potentially. I know I'm doing extremely junior engineering debugging here, but let's just see if it actually works. So I want to make sure that if I open the app back up, go look at this. Now, what I wanted to see was whether or not we have a div that says hello on it. We do not. So that's a problem. Whoops. Also confused about this. Gosh. Hello. There we go. Okay, so it does work. So here's the insane thing that we can do. We can use this shortcut to trigger a signal. So let keyboard signal equal. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I've done this wrong. I mean, I could still do it this way. I could also use a global signal. So you can use, Doxus does have sort of this weird concept of globals. That might be the way, for signals at least, that might be the way that we have to go. I don't like it though, because we're also going from the desktop back into the UI. And it's like maybe we can't actually. This isn't a type that we're sharing, this is like a full piece of functionality. Excuse me, 1 second. Okay, let's have a little think about what we want to do here. So, when Alt+C is pressed, if the company is selected, the view should set to company. Let's do Alt+R as well while we're at it. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit boring to. I don't think it'll be a big change. So when Alt, can't find the button on my keyboard, is pressed, if the role is selected, should set to role. So what's one benefit here with this is that we already have this concept of views in home. So if I go into home, we have this view optional details view. So if it's not set, then the default is basically the default is going to be company. the only thing is that you can set it to an invalid thing. So you can set it to invalid by setting it to a string that isn't handled, or you could set it to roll when there is no role selected, which would be an invalid state to get into, and that's sort of handled not here, it's in the details view. Here, so we've got this sort of match statement. So if the view is role and the role is set, then show role. If the view is role and the role is not set, then produce a error, but also just set it to role. This probably isn't really error worthy. Oh, whoops. That's the right one. Cool. So we can probably use a signal to set the role to, sorry, the details view based on what has been triggered. And then we'll need somewhere to listen to that and update the route. With the main issue being that so the route is largely dealt with in here in terms of like processing the information. We've got the option, we've got the company ID, the role ID, and later on we'll have the interview ID as well. This is a tough one. This is just like a straight up, I need to work out why it keeps doing that. It's just a straight up logic issue. Like, where does this belong? It could be in here. Okay, let's do it in here. Let's do dioxys. We're gonna have to work out how to pass it though. Dioxys labs. We need a static signal. It's going to be managing state. Creating a state. It's not this. It's not this. Using globals. So the problem is I don't think that we can make that public. Let's try. So this allows us to create a static signal which behaves the same way as normal signals. I think it probably does some sort of like delayed instantiation type thing, because signals almost certainly will rely on some form of heap memory because they won't work in the stack on their own. So this likely creates some sort of delayed instantiation for when you need to actually write to it. Probably. I don't really know. It's all a bit weird. It must work on the it must work on the heap because it uses internal mutability, and it must be protected against multi-threads. Maybe. Okay, fine. Let's think this through. Let's go into here to start off with. So we already did this kind of like silly. This probably will need to change if I ever do it on. Oh, that's how I did that. Okay. This is cool. Daniel in the past did good. So I'm earlier in the stream, and if you weren't here for that earlier, don't worry, I'll mention it now. So we have this application that's broken up in different parts. We have like the desktop concept, but we also might do a mobile and web versions in the future. The UI is shared between all of them, and I was talking about the fact that on the help view in here, the logger is currently JSON log fetcher. So I can just do what I did here to fix this problem. This basically is a conditional compilation toggle. So I can do, it doesn't actually need to be pub, but it's fine. Log fetcher here, log fetcher type equals JSON log fetcher. So now this type alias will only exist for desktop, which means that I can now go over back to my help page and switch these over. Not that one, just these ones. Might need to import, that's fine. And then I can drop this out. We'll still need the log fetcher trait. I mean, sorry, that should really be that anyway. Cool. Okay, so that makes that problem go away. This will now work on other things if I ever go around to making it. Coming back to this, what on earth was I doing? I wanted to set up a global signal. Is that not how I do that? I must have deleted the thing from memory. It's fine. Oh, no, it's probably appearing on a different window, right? Yeah, it was. Okay. So we want to import this global signal. Docs prelude. We can do... Why on earth would you think that's appropriate? Rust rover. I think the news should probably come at the very end. This one, maybe. You should have a space there. Okay, cool. So what we actually want here is probably a thing that tells us that we ought to be handling a window change. With a slight issue that we're still going to have to deal with that weird bounce on the callback. So, sorry, let's just... Let me just rebuild that so it's... Oh, whoopsie. Oh, what have I done? Okay, no. Expected I-32, yeah, you're right. Okay, fine. Don't know what's going on there. Okay, so don't worry about that for a second. The challenge here is... no idea what I was doing. Oh yeah, sorry, the bounce. So if I hold down Alt and press C once, I got 2 Alt+Cs was pressed. Is that always 2? No. Yes. Maybe it's down and up? Interesting. Can we check for the key that was pressed? We can't. Wait, that can't be right, right? Down, up. No. So if we... I think we're just gonna have to not worry about the fact that we're gonna get a dual refresh for the purposes of this stream, because I don't want to go on too long tonight. Sorry, well, we were in main. So this callback doesn't take any properties. That's the issue here, right? Unless the shortcut handle, shortcut registry error, shortcut handle is just literally a number. Yeah, that makes sense. So hotkey, I thought maybe it'd be, it might give us an up and down and pressed on the hotkey. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and look at like having an actual event listener that listens to the keyboard rather than this shortcut thing. I don't think this is going to work in the long run, and we probably, yeah. Okay, sorry. So here's the issue. There's no way to know whether the event was being triggered by it going down or up. So I was thinking like, well, we could listen, like we could set it on the down and then fire it on the up or something like that, you know, be prepared when it goes down, sort of actually fire the event when it goes up. But we can't, because we could easily miss one and then we'll be out of sync and it'll all be a mess. So I think we'll just have to fire it twice, which is a disaster. Probably. Yeah. Okay, we'll just go through this step by step. It might be okay. So the first thing is, does this even work? Can we do set view signal? Or maybe just, what was it called before? It was just called count, wasn't it? I think set view signal is probably fine. We've got it public here. So then can I from here use it? So we would like to do, I'm not 100% sure I can do it in here, but dot set. Not mutable. That might be. Wait. Function cannot borrow immutable local variable. Set view signal as mutable. Interesting. Pub. Static mute. There's no way. Oh, okay. Was that? It's not mutable here. Maybe it doesn't need to be that. Maybe it's the dereferencing that's doing the trick. Oh, that's okay. That's a different error. Getting there. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's gonna be set then. Dogs, this is so weird. I'm sure this makes perfect sense to normal people, perhaps, but... 1 second, I'm going to hide for a moment while I drink. Thirsty work. Right. I'm really curious as to how that works. So they're dereferencing, so they're going to, they're dereferencing the global signal. So they are, global signal probably actually implements deref. Or not. So interesting, so weird. Global, implement deref for global, there you go. So they're using the dereference operator to get inside of it. This target is a function that returns R, so something that's readable, and then they're calling write on whatever that readable thing is. Don't know. Don't think it matters. So what I probably want to do is use this to set this view. So we could use the details view here, because this type is public as well, and I assume it's probably pub use main nav, so I think that's fine. And that's router. Where are you? Pub use router. So that's exposed to. Okay, here's what we're going to do. This is actually going to contain an option, which will contain a details view. This is going to be insane if this actually works. In home, what we can do is read the signal and then potentially just trigger a reroute if it is not what we thought it was going to be. So if let's new view equals what was it called? Set view signal. So that will give us the details view. Then if, okay, this is going to be messy. Let's not worry about it for now. If new view, actually, there's a better way of doing this. If set view signal Maybe I just rename this to view signal because we're not always going to be setting it. Dot is sum and I don't like this either because I have to call the signal itself twice, which isn't ideal. Not equal. So what I was thinking is if it's not equal to view, then this would trigger both view signal dot set none. We have to do the right thing, the tricky little inner right equals none. So that should set it back to being nothing again, and then we would do router dot push. Do we have router dot? Oh, this would get this would get a little bit complicated because it would basically be. I might have to think about this a second. Let's just assume we'll try not to push any buttons until we are in the correct place. Oh, okay, we're going to be like that, are we? This is going to get real messy, and I apologize for how bad this is going to be. Please forgive me. I don't think. Do I have to string for the router view? Okay, so it's going to be just basically a bunch of unwraps. This is very much a don't do as I like, do as I say, not as I do. We will do company not set router dot not set. Sorry. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Role ID. Expect role not set. That's incorrect. So this is question mark view equals. I'm probably going to have to create some sort of. What I'll do is I'll create a utility function that will just set this stuff to. Nice live stream. Does this have a UI? The GUI. Do you mean this GUI? This is what we're building. So the step we're on is can I jump between the company details and the role details with key presses? That's what I'm aiming for next. I hope that answers your question, Venture. So I've had it closed for ages because it just bugs me every time I reload it and it just pops back up. Although we did fix the problem of it always being on top of this window, so that's good. Sorry, view signal. I probably ought to extract this. This is using it too many times. Dot expect new view wasn't set. So that may work. However, did I set a toString for this? I have not, so let's do that quickly. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Import, it's actually going. We actually want display. That will give us toString for free. For thanks, Vancha. And I hope I'm saying your name right. Let me know if I need to Google that. Oh, hang on. No, I have said it already. Format display. So this gives us if we've got if we want to turn it into a string again. So that will now work for the format macro, or it already did work for the format macro. Let myself get distracted. So that bit should now work. I mean, I say work. We'll change this as soon as these 3 lines are just garbage. I don't know. It's really bad. What I want to do then is write some details view. Oh, is it not exported? Okay, hang on a second. So details view comes from router. That is public. We go to lib. I'm sure we just checked this, right? Router. Ooh. Unhappy. Details view is defined multiple times. Details view can... It's fine. Back to main. So now this should work. Company. And if we add another one, I have to do basically the same thing. I don't think this matters. We don't actually care about the response from this. So let's do quickly Alt+R. Could not make key. Alt+R was pressed. And in this case, it's going to be roll. And so now if I go new company, new roll, Alt+C. Oh. Oh my word, what happened? Ugh. Oh, and I've got a horrible dialysis error. Okay, Alt+C was pressed, happy. Main panicked, unwrap value on error. I am getting... Hi, Min and Matt. Thank you for joining. You're welcome to join in the YouTube chat as well if you guys like. Sorry, I'm just going to out you right now. Anyway. Let's see. Where are we getting this error? This is in... Let's see, virtual DOM. So we are getting an error in the handle global hotkey. I am not convinced that this is the sensible way of doing things, especially because it's coming from the different crate. And I'm not sure exactly how Rust glues its crates together when they're being used. So calling a function is one thing, but that's just something that's going on a call stack. This is a weird constant value. I mean, it should be all right. Yeah, so it's... Yeah, it definitely is doing a delayed allocation type thing as well, because you wouldn't be able to allocate, you wouldn't be able to use a box on in a static because you require box put stuff on heap memory, so that wouldn't work. So it's doing some very clever stuff in here. I do like that. Handle user events. The real issue being, Evan, global hotkey might be too global. It handles hotkeys everywhere, even if your app is not focused. Oh no. Hi, Evan. It's good to see you again. Yeah, okay. So this probably isn't the right way to do this. Is that what's gone wrong here, though? I would really love to know what the actual cause of this error was, and I'm just not seeing it in this. We don't really get... This is slightly unfortunate. So it's scope context. Should we just have a quick look at the file? You should be able to see it in here. I've obviously done something very silly. No, the area you're seeing is about the runtime. You can fix it by moving your code into a use callback. And then calling that callback which includes the runtime. Oh, I'm out of my depth again. Use callback. Let's see. Create a callback that's always up to date. Whenever this hook is called, the inner callback will be replaced with the new callback. Oh, I have used this before, I'm sure of it. Oh, okay. Vincent, if you're still on, I've just spotted what's wrong with my logs not updating. It's exactly this thing. So just read that again. So create a callback that's always up to date. Whenever this hook is called, the inner callback will be replaced with the new callback, but the handle will remain. There's currently no signal on the callback, so anything reading from it will not be updated. That's probably fine. Signal handling on the callback. Yeah, no, so I think that's okay. This API's influx might not remain. That's okay as well. Okay. So we think we might want to stick in here. I keep forgetting that I'm inside of app, which is an element. So that won't work, right? Sorry, hang on a minute. I've got it in the wrong place. It's here. Wait, that's why I just did. Closure is expected to take. Oh, yeah, that's maybe not going to work because I think use callback, yeah, always takes T. So in this specific case, it might not work. Oh, wait, what am I doing? It's literally the same thing that I had a moment ago. So, oh, because the underlying function will also do, That would have been really stupid if that had worked. Give me another minute to have a drink, sorry. Very hot today. I think it's like, oh, it's 28 degrees in this room. Right, sorry about that. So, this is going to give me, let me just see how I've used it in the past, because that'll probably help, really. Reload roles, I'm actually passing this down into somewhere else to be called. Reload roles is a callback. So I use it. I think it's just like after editing, so form receiver is probably what actually calls reload roles. Nope. It's whatever this listens to here. So there is reload roll. So it does take, yeah. Okay, I might have misunderstood this entirely then. Let me just go back to what I had. So create, it's not far back enough. That's too far. Okay, cool. So the callback and create shortcut does not take any values. I might just need to find an example of someone else using this. But Evan also said this isn't the right way to do this. Anyway, so if this is going to pick up an Alt+C elsewhere, which I guess we could check just by reopening the application and then, so if I put the application so we can see it here, I'll go back to here, do Alt+C, and yeah, okay, so Evan's right, that is going to be massively overkill. So we need a way of listening to, I think we are going to have to go back to what we were looking at before. If I can even, find it again, which was creating the listener on the window in Maybe in tau. It's always the last thing that gets me, isn't it? So config in here. I believe there was a... Was there not an event listener here? Oh, maybe not on this one, sorry, maybe on the other one. We've got the custom event handler. We've got the with event loop. And the main problem being that I'm straight back to the same issue because I'm using the signal. I'm probably not going to be able to... oh, sorry, I've just worked out how to fix that specific problem. Sorry, I think I have anyway. So let's go to company equal use callback. So this will, the reason we can't put that straight into where we are is because it's going to require a parameter. So we can't just pass this callback in like use callback creates a callback that requires a parameter being passed in. Even though we're taking the unit type, that's still technically a parameter. So we can't just pass that closure in, but we might be able to pass the one that we've created in. So this basically becomes this. And then in here, we might need to move it, but I think it should be okay to do this. And yeah, we do need to move it. So that might work. Go to role. Use callback. And oh. Okay. Oops. Okay, and then we still have the bug that we know about on, so Alt+C. I think that was a different error though this time. Alt+C was pressed. That's correct. Dropped value. Let's just check the first one first. Main panicked. New view wasn't set. Wait. That's the one that... What? No. Wait, hang on. I don't think that's possible. I think that one I just wrote in as a this will never happen kind of a bug. I'm going to be so delighted. New view wasn't set. Now, here's the thing. View signal at the point that was checked here was something. So I've obviously read this too many times. This is why I shouldn't have done this. Okay, let's sorry, if let some I can't remember someone was mentioning about async being challenging earlier. This is exactly this. So we just want to call this one time. I'm actually kind of impressed that between here and here that value changed. We will then need if view is not equal. This is going to be a bit weird. I don't know if Rust is capable of optimizing this, but some new view. So view is already optional. So I have to put it back in the option to compare it because I only want to get it out once. I mean, I could unwrap it like I've done down here. This feels maybe slightly more sensible because we're keeping everything scoped into this. Let's just see what happens. Oh my goodness, I'm so silly. Look, this is why. It's not an async issue. It's literally that I just wrote it to be none. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's fine. Let's kill that. Get that. Drop this. Change this. Nope. New view. Oh, wow, Daniel. New view needs cloning. Oh, yeah, it is. Don't really want to clone it. Okay. There's still going to be one massive pug here, even if this works. Thank you, Evan. I mean, the slight issue being, if I drag this all the way down here so you can see it, we will still, even when it's not in view, have this. Never mind. It doesn't matter for now. I will work out the rest later. I think for stream, we will just focus on the terrible version. Okay, continuing on. The next issue is, if I go to, like, company... Okay, that wasn't the next issue I was expecting. Capture panic... Okay. I was so happy because I was like, it's 9. I want to stop in less than an hour. And I now know the last thing I need to fix before I end the stream. I know. Thank you, Vincent. Did just blow up. I'm going too deep into the call stack. It's going to be somewhere nearer the top. So we're having a problem with convert. Wait, the encountered error, captured panic. So something happened in home, which is where we're playing with things. That's the most likely place for it to happen. Error boundary. Dropping into, there's not going to be any of these. Nope. I don't think it's normally this far down. Chaos always finds a way to rear its head. At the tail end of streams, it does indeed. It's like anytime someone tries to like live code their talks as well. That's basically what this is, isn't it? It's just a live coding talk. I'm asking for punishment. That's clearly what it is. I don't see a cause. So this would be very stupid. I'm just gonna do the old joke of pushing it to the top of the hill. Oh, no. It's not, okay, hang on, new role, company. Okay, it wasn't that. So I was wondering, so if I go from, this is the company view, now it's on the role view, and if I click on a company that doesn't have a role, it's not an issue. So that was my first thought. So here, if I do it here, it will break. So I need to select a role, Alt. I wonder if it's still set. So if I now do a company again, this doesn't have a role, so it would cause an unwrap if company was set on the signal. I wonder if that's the reason, but we are setting it back to none here, in theory. So what I could do, but I would also expect at this point to see it say specifically one of the expect messages. If that was the issue, oh, look, role not set. So it looks like maybe this just isn't quite finished. So what we can do is just be a little bit more sensible about this, I think. What we could do... Okay, so I was saying earlier that what I probably want is like a convenience function that does this for me. So we could do an fn go to root. We would like, well, let's do go home. I'm always joking about the fact that the Go programming language, I feel, missed a trick on the apparently it doesn't do this anymore, but in the old days you used to have go root, which was where everything got stored. And one of the things that annoyed me most about that was that they didn't call it go home. I'm a child. And I'm very silly. I'm very sorry, everyone. Okay, so what we want is go home. So we want to probably, do we want to match everything? Maybe we want to match everything. Company ID, role ID, and view. Although in this case, technically view is the more important one because that's going to decide where we want to try to get to. So let's say we've got, we will have a default, which is just going to go to the home. If nothing else is there, we'll just go home. And that's easy enough because that's literally just like router.push. And I'm really hoping that this isn't going to be one of those ones that sort of doesn't like. So it needs to be a string. Expected, but found. Yeah, it's fine. We'll do let navigation results. And then we'll do a second match down here. So sorry, this needs to go away. We'll do one more thing down here, which is just like if let navigation. Oh no, e equals navigation. Oh, it's an option. Oh, if let's, I say some failure equal. Yeah, that's interesting. I would have gone. I wonder what the reason for that was. So if I were writing it, I would have used a result with a unit type, but here, because this is a potential failure, but they've chosen to use an option. I wonder what this, like, I'm assuming that they are much smarter than I am, and so I assumed that there was some sort of like reason for that. That should cover the issue if there's a problem. And then next we want to do, let's say if we've got, so we're going to have a tuple, just bring this out. It's going to get a bit annoying. Some company ID, no, sorry, this is wrong. Some display role, okay. Maybe this isn't what I want to do. This is overly complicated, I think. I probably just, so at this point I'm trying to do the routing, but maybe I just want to create the address. So maybe instead of go home, I want to do like create route. I think I'm overthinking it. Because we're always going to, so in this case, we can return a string that will represent the route. This makes a lot more sense. So now we can do string new. Let route equal string new. We'll return route at the end. And then we will do if let some company ID equals. So this gets us our company ID. We need to be a little bit careful here because the function would allow you to put a role ID without a company ID, which would be a disaster. So we only want to do that. Actually, no, push was fine. To string. There we go. Oh. Expected char. Oh, okay. Sorry. Push stra, and then a reference to that. Cool. And that needs to be mutable. Yeah. So the way the routing works, you would have to have a company logically, but I have not put in any kind of protection on these functions. So home can exist without a company ID, or with a company ID, or with a company ID and a role ID, but you can't really get to home with a company ID, but with no company ID, but with a role ID. That doesn't make any sense conceptually. I think we have some logic around that as well. So for example, yeah, so when you set the context in the set role here, it will actually check whether or not there is a company. And if there isn't, you'll get either there is a company, but the role doesn't belong to it, then you'll get a role does not belong to company error. And if there is no company set, you'll get a company not set error at this point. But in here, we haven't got that. This is kind of down to our routing rules. I'm not sure what the best structure to get around that would be. So if anyone has any ideas, have a little shout out. But anyway, if let some role ID. So this is going to be inside of the other one. So we'll only be able to create this bit of the path if this is here. So root.push stra company ID to string. Cool. And then the view doesn't actually matter. There are other protections in place for that. So we can do if let some view equals view. Can't see. View roots.push view equals. So it's a like a parameter on the URL rather than it being a path on the URL. I'm not actually 100% sure about this. What I might do in the future is make it a path on the URL, but for now it's fine. So then this is actually going to be, we will need to do a format to make a string. That takes a string reference, so it has to dereference it. Don't know why it keeps popping open when it can't build. That should be okay. So now we have a way of generating the root. Let's get back to here. We can now drop all of this. So in this case, I'm going to rewrap it in a... I'm probably now being overly cautious to not call view signal multiple times. I think it's probably okay, really, and I probably just made a mistake. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And then this part is going to be the create root. And then we can pass in company ID already is an option. Role ID is already an option. And we will need to rewrap the new view. But we don't want to do that unless view is different. So this is now going to be, still needs to be in the if some new view. I had it a minute ago, didn't I? I just need to bring that back. And I do actually need to do the right there as well. So that's probably a good job that I brought that back. Okay. Too many. Okay, fine. Okay. Fingers crossed. So new company, new role, Alt+R, Alt+C. Ugh. Interesting though. Application tries to programmatically navigate to an external page. So I've made a big mistake somewhere. Did I forget a slash? I think I'll just do it rather than trying to form another string on top of everything. I could just do that. I think. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be a char. I think that might be the. I'm probably overthinking it actually. So, Alt+C, darn it. Now why? Had I not selected everything? It shouldn't matter now, right? So new company, new role, Alt+C. Okay. Could not set role, not found. Interesting. Oh, Daniel. That's an interesting error, though. I should probably work out what... oh, could not set error role. Yeah, this is actually all the way back on home. I should probably handle that error better. So on home itself... So the mistake I made was I accidentally put in the company ID, which is a UUID, into the role ID. If you push the root enum instead of strings to navigator, it'll handle all the string formatting for you. That's a far more sensible idea. Thank you, Evan. So is that... sorry, let's... Oh, I'm not sure I can, though. That's the only thing. So the reason for doing it this way is because I have to construct the root depending on what's set and what's not. So it's almost... It could be... You could do it backwards, could you? I'd have to redo. I'll stick with this for now, Evan. I think this is better. No worries, Vincent. You can, if you really want to carry on watching me struggle, you can pick it up tomorrow. Evan, I think probably the best thing for me to do is to, like, not on stream, but later, I will remove the optional details view thing here, and I might stick it at the front, so that the view ends up sort of over here. Even though company ID will always be company, so it'll be company. Well, yeah, if it doesn't have a role ID, it will always go to company. I think that's probably okay, and then I can just put the view at the front. And then I'll be able to do what you suggested, which is to use the enum itself instead of using a string. I think that's a much better way of doing it. It's much more safer. So let's do that later. Let me add that as a issue, though, so I don't forget. Issues, new. Use router enum for routing, for pushing roots. Pushing roots to do this. We should move the view URL parameter to being a path. And then let's do sorry, I don't know exactly how to company ID, role ID, view equals view, and check view company ID, role ID. I think that is going to work out much better, personally. And we can still make it, we can still fix this with like a, whoops, you've gone to the wrong place, maybe? Or maybe this makes it better because you wouldn't be able to, we could just make it company/company ID as being the things being viewed, or role/company ID/role ID just wouldn't be a root. I think that's a lot better. And the same would go for interviews as well. When we get there, you will need a company ID, a role ID, and then you're allowed interviews. But you could have company, role, or interviews at that point. So we can be much more specific if we do it that way around. Okay. I think we are getting there with this. For now, I'm going to leave it. Did I save the issue? No. Now we've got the issue that describes it. There we go. Which means, where did I get up to? Did I actually try the thing I just changed? Alt+C, Alt+R, change. There we go. Okay. let's also create a new issue. Don't use, what was it? Shortcut, right? Create shortcut. Create shortcut. This is overkill. This reads keyboard inputs even if window doesn't have focus. Also doesn't. So the other thing that I wanted to do is that if you are currently holding down the key, so there's a few problems with the like even without this major issue that Evan rightly pointed out, of it doing it when it doesn't have focus. I can't tell if it's up or down. It fires multiple times, and I can't just see if the Alt key is held down with this, which I would like to do so that I can, at this top level, this is why I wrote this in originally, was it would be good to be able to say in this div class, the Alt key is currently being held down, and just change the class here. I think, I'm not 100% sure on how DirectX actually works out the children, but I don't think it would change all of the children. I don't think it would re-render all of the children, so it should be all right to just change the class here and say Alt key is now held down. And then over in the view for the navigation for the view, where did I put the navigation? Here. Oh yeah, I need to extract this. I think there's already a ticket for that. When Alt is held down, I could add additional styling to these to give like a little box to say like Alt+C, and then put that on the menu bar itself, so you'll be able to see in the menu bar that that's what that does. So back over here. So if you, what I would like is to have like a little box maybe here when you hold down Alt that says Alt+C, another one here that says Alt+R, maybe Alt+I, maybe Alt+Q. Not entirely sure, but I think that probably covers everything I wanted to do. I mean, yes, I added more bugs, but that's okay. I think I'm going to end this stream a bit earlier, but I guess before I do that, does anyone have any questions or anything about the project or about Rust or about programming in general? I know we had a lot of questions early on in the stream about general programming, and more than happy to address them now. I'm going to carry on typing up the issues and making my commits and stuff. I managed to not do any commits throughout the whole stream again, so I will do that for a minute. But if anyone does have any questions, drop them in chat. I'd really like to hear from people watching. So where am I? Also doesn't let us capture if a modifier is held down. I could also tell you, wow, I was really hoping to get some great news today, because I had my final interview at a job yesterday. I haven't heard back from them, and I'm a bit sad. I don't know if that means I didn't get it. But even if I do, I will continue working on the job track, because I'm actually having quite a lot of fun. It's just a good learning experience, you know. Okay, so I made a mess of all the commits. Let's work out how we get through this. Bring this down. So we probably want to bring that in. I think we've made a few changes here. So this is not this, not this. Yes, that. Yes, that, yes, that. And then not this, I think. Yeah. And we could just leave this out for now. Cargo.tomwart changed. We added in desktop because that was required for the config stuff. I don't, so let's just do that. Okay, so feet, set window sizes and restrictions. Also stopped it always being on top. Not to be personal, but you're doing okay financially. I am, thank you very much. I have, no, not for a whole year. I haven't been looking for a whole year, although I have spent more than 1 year out of work over the last 2. I did have a brief stint somewhere, so I'm okay for money, don't worry. And yeah, fine. Thank you, though. Don't, oh my God, no, don't feel pressure to join the Patreon. I'm never going to actually make money on the Patreon, so it's fine. Don't do that. The Patreon's just there if people want to like throw something at the channel. I have even like set the numbers to be like stupidly high to dissuade people from doing that. So I don't even know why I really set it up. There will be, if you really want, there will be, yeah, please, Vincent, don't do that. There will be a, like, I haven't quite decided yet. I did start setting up a Ko-fi for the app itself. So that if people use the app, I want to give the app away for free, but if people use the app and are able to find a job and just want to like, you know, tip the hat or whatever, then I have set up a Ko-fi, which I'm not currently using as well. So once I've done the app, there'll be that as well. Again, really don't expect much money from it. I'm just mostly, I mean, a big part of setting up this channel was just to get like visibility, not to get money. And then I can use the visibility to try and get a job. And you would actually be surprised, like quite a few people have seen the CV and then gone and watched it and been very excited. So that's been quite nice. We'll see. Sorry, I didn't mean to make people worry about me or anything like that. It's all fine. And yeah, please don't join the Patreon unless you like specifically want to have a shout out or something. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I'm really, well, I mean, I've been broke for a while. Not broke. Oh my God. I've been careful with my money for a while. So I have not been doing that, but I think that's really nice that you do that, Vincent. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, poor choice of words. I'm not broke. I'm fine. Where am I? So this is all okay. This is the also stopped it always being on top. Great. Okay, moving on. Sorry, let myself get distracted. Ah, okay, so perfect. Okay. This wasn't working earlier. Now it's suddenly working, which I'm very happy about, but I made a pre-commit hook to stop all of my builds failing, so that's good. Let's go fix all of the things. Log error not used. Error not used. Oh yeah, because I changed it to info. Cool. Format display is not used. Because I used, yeah, that's fine. I added that by mistake when I started re-adding the format display. That's fixed. Maybe this is all right now. Just quickly rerun that then. Feels unlikely that, okay, okay. Didn't expect DX format and cargo format to be fine, but apparently they're okay. Cool. So next up, we now have the window, and we're going to add this signal stuff in next, I think. I will put this in even though I'm not using it right now. So let's just rename it to do when modifier works. Sure, that's fine. This is fine. Let's leave this for now. So we did that log fetcher type. I think everything else is fine. Let's leave that out for now. Probably should have done it next, really, but it's okay. So we'll take this stuff in. And this, and this, and this. So help, I haven't, oh, hang on a minute, then. Oh, it's grouped these together. Fine, let's just, oh, I can't, Okay. So the funny thing here is wait, could I, there we go. This will work. It's a bit silly, but it'll work. So I just didn't want to include that because I wanted to do that as a separate commit to this one. So I've literally just changed the order of them, which, I mean, at least they're now alphabetical as well. Weird justifications. Let's see. So this is listen to keyboard shortcuts to change details view. And then this is going to be to do. Don't use, what was it called? Create shortcut. Create shortcut. Shortcut, and then I created a issue for it. 53. Commit, and then last but not least, contains problems. Yeah, you're fine. I think it's an old one. And then lastly is the use. It's actually a fix, I think. Fix, use. Oops, did that not go through? Oh, I'll be fine. Oh, come on. Amend. I don't think I pushed it, so it should be all right. That's on. And oh. Okay, fine, we'll just amend that one. It's still, I've added, after all that, I still managed to add the type by mistake. Doesn't matter. I can take these out. We'll do that in a second though. Amend commit. Cargo. Refactor. Remove unused crates from main. I think this is probably because we moved a lot of stuff out of main and into UI. I have no one's asked me any further questions, so I'm going to end after I've done this last commit. Feet, use. Oh, hang on, how did storage go away? That can't be right. It's because of the feature, I think. I think it's being a bit weird. The feature's ticked. Not sure why that's happened. Let's just quickly do a cargo clippy. Should tell us on its own what's gone wrong there. It seems fine. Thanks, Vincent. I thought you actually disappeared a while ago. I'm really glad you hung around. Cool. Let's just get this last commit in, and then we'll call it a day. Use the type alias so we can change depending on build target. Package target, package type. There we go. Come in and push. Okay, I think we're all done. Thank you everyone for joining me. Ending the stream quite nice and early. As I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I think that the next video of Iris, touch wood, will be on Patreon before the end of the week, and then on YouTube on the 1st of July. And I'm currently working on the macros chapter of the book, which has turning out to be quite a lot of fun, but I'm still working out the sort of layout of it, so we'll see how that gets on. And then macros unsafe will be after that. I have not decided what I'm going to do for that. I want to try and show something useful and useful patterns, but I never use unsafe myself, which I think will be pertinent. Actually, that's not entirely true. The last time I used it was for embedded though, and we're not really discussing embedded on the Iris series. So I'll work out something that's sort of like here's some silly things you can do, but you probably don't need to, because almost everything you would ever need to do is in the standard library already protected for you. So, and then finally we'll do async, which will be a beast. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and I will catch you another time. Oh, I actually set up a new scene for finishing on. Here we go.